How's it going, everybody? My name is Rinzler here, back again for another video. And welcome back to the channel. As usual, shoot in this context means to tell the absolute truth about something and not to actually shoot nobody with a gun. Apologies if I sound a little bit off in this video. I'm kind of fighting some kind of illness. I think I've been saying the last couple shoot videos. I think I've been getting sick. Today I feel sick. But I felt like I needed to make a video today, so sorry if I sound off. I'm going to try and sound as normal as usual, but my throat is a bit sore, so that's just a fair warning. And also I want to thank you guys for watching my bald shoot video, because like that video got a lot more views than I was expecting, so very much appreciated. And I decided that I wanted to make a video talking about the time that I snuck in to see It Chapter 1, back in 2017. I went to do that on October 1st of 2017, so we're coming up on the 2-year anniversary. I couldn't figure out what else I wanted to make a shoot video on at the moment, so I decided now is the time, especially since It Chapter 2 just came out. Haven't seen It Chapter 2. Didn't look all that good to me in the trailers. I'm not actually a big fan of horror movies to begin with, believe it or not. I like action horror. Usually, I don't like movies that are designed just to freak you out. I like movies that are action packed, but also occasionally have their scarier moments. That's why I like Aliens so much, is because it's like action horror. Same with The Thing. I love John Carpenter's The Thing. It's one of my favorite movies. Speaking of The Thing, that was actually the first rated R movie I can remember watching. It was either that or The Predator, and I watched that the first time when I was in kindergarten. My dad didn't really mind letting me watch rated R movies when I was like 4 or 5 years old. Hell, I'm not complaining because I think I grew up, pretty well. Because while other kids were getting really scared about the idea of violence, like I was, just used to it or whatever. Because I've been watching rated R movies for so long. So I think that watching rated R movies kind of hardened me early. So I appreciate that. My mom showed me all the kid-friendly animated stuff at her house, while my dad showed me the violent stuff at his house. So I feel like I had a lot of different variety when I was a kid. Anyway, I've been to the movies to see rated R movies before as well, like in the theater. I saw The Thing reboot with my dad in the theater. I saw the movie Ted with Seth MacFarlane and Mark Wahlberg. I saw Ted with my older brother in the theater. Uh, so this video, I'm gonna be talking about the first time I ever went to a rated R movie in the theater without an adult. Um, so basically, It Chapter 1 was about to come out, and I had spent the previous summer, getting back in touch with some of my old friends who I hadn't talked to in a long time. So anyway, Adrenaline was one of those people. I didn't talk to Adrenaline really at all. Uh, I don't know if you guys can hear, there's an airplane in the background. I apologize about that. Um, anyway, so basically, Adrenaline was there because I didn't talk to him really for all of my sophomore year. Me and him had different classes, so we didn't really start talking again until right before my junior year started. And I made amends with a couple of my other friends who, for the context of this story, but for identity's sake, I'm going to call them B and E. I hung out with B and E a lot at the end of the summer. I hung out with Adrenaline a lot too. Uh, Me, B, and E, yeah, that all rhymes, I know. Me, B, and E, we all went to the movies in August of 2017 to go see the Emoji Movie. We only went because we knew it was going to be really shitty, and we wanted to see if it was really as bad as people were saying it was. Um, so we went to go see the Emoji Movie just to poke fun at it. Definitely a waste of our money, but we had a good time. Just staying there making fun of the movie. We were talking really loudly during the movie too, and nobody else in the audience really minded because nobody was giving a shit about what was on screen. Everybody knew that this was a shitty movie, and they didn't mind us talking through it. So, like a lot of people were actually talking out loud as well. Like the entire audience was like just talking and criticizing the movie out loud while we were in the theater. That was definitely one of my better movie theater experiences. So about a month later, we wanted to, or a month and a half later, I should say, it was like late September we started planning this. We wanted to go see It Chapter 1 in early October, because we heard that it was scary, and we thought that would be a cool place to hang out as a group because none of us individually are really into horror stuff, but as a group, we thought maybe it would be more fun. So we really wanted to go see It Chapter 1. The problem is that It Chapter 1 is rated R. And at the time, all of us were only 16. And neither of my, I'm sorry, not, I was going to say neither of my parents. I meant to say my grandmother and my mom. Neither one of them were interested in seeing this movie, so they couldn't take us. Um, my friend B, who I was talking about, I'm not friends with B anymore for reasons I don't want to talk about. But B was 17, so and in New Hampshire you only have to be 17 to go see a rated R movie. So we figured that B could quote unquote take us to go see It Chapter 1, and we'd be fine. Um, so we planned it out. So it was going to be me, B, E, Adrenaline, and Adrenaline's girlfriend, who I'm going to call J for the sake of this video. So we were all going to go see It Chapter 1. E had to back out at the last minute because he had something going on, so it ended up just being me, B, like as in Bobby. His name's not Bobby, I'm just saying it so that because B and E sound similar. So it was me, B, Adrenaline, and Adrenaline's girlfriend, Jay. And we all went to go see It Chapter 1. We were relying kind of on B to get us in. My mom drove us to the theater and she hung around just to make sure we didn't have any problems getting our tickets. Uh, Unfortunately, we did end up having problems getting our tickets because the guy at the front desk, I think he was having some kind of a bad night because he was being kind of rude to everybody. And he was really picking on us in particular. Like he was saying how we need like a fucking birth certificate. Like he wouldn't just believe B was 17, even though he really was. He was like demanding a birth certificate and shit. So my mom comes into the theater and she starts trying to talk the guy into just letting us through, but he's not budging. Uh, so she pulls me off to the side and she gives me this really good idea because my mom is really awesome. So she pulls me off to the side and she gives me this idea of purchasing tickets to go see the Lego Ninjago movie, which had just come out. And instead of going to the Lego Ninjago theater, we would simply just sneak into the It theater. And at first, I was against that plan because I thought if we get caught, they're going to kick us out of the theater. But my mom said that the worst they'll probably do is just kick us out of that theater in particular and move us to the Lego Ninjago theater. So I finally saw a sense in her idea, and I was like, "Yeah, you know what? That's a good idea." So I pulled B, Adrenaline, and J aside, and and basically I told them my mom's idea, and Adrenaline and Jay, they both understood the plan and were willing to go through with it. B was a bit more reluctant. B thought it was a bad idea. He didn't want to ruin it. He was a goody two shoes of a kid. Admittedly, I kind of tried my best to be a responsible kid, but in this case, I really just wanted to go in and do this plan. So Adrenaline and Jay were fine with it. B had some complaints, but we ended up talking him into it eventually. So we got into the theater. We got ourselves ices, I believe it was. We got ourselves ices. I didn't drink soda. I still don't drink soda. I quit soda in my sophomore year for dieting purposes, and also just because I hate soda in general. I think it's overrated and it doesn't taste very good. It doesn't make me feel good afterwards, so I got an icy. I didn't get soda. Anyway, after we got all our drinks and a popcorn, we went in. We were going to the theater. There was a bit of a problem, though. The Lego Ninjago theater was on the right side of the theater, while the It theater was on the left side of the theater. So we had to cross across the theater to get to the right, well, theater, I guess. We had to cross the building to get to the right theater, is what I'm trying to say. And to get there, we had to pass the same guy who let us in, the same ticket guy who told us to go on the right. So I was really worried the ticket guy was going to turn around, see us going to the left side of the theater, and call us out on going to a different movie than we purchased. Luckily, he didn't turn around. He didn't see us. So we went to the left side of the theater, and we go into the theater with the It sign over it, and we take our seats. Um, but so there's like this comedic trailer playing on the big screen. We feel like we've gotten there just in time, and everything seems all hunky dory. But then this trailer is just one scene. It's like a scene that isn't changing. We sit there watching what we think is a trailer for 4 minutes, but it's like it's not changing to a different scene or a clip or whatever. So B starts to lean over to me and question if we're in the right theater. I keep telling him like, be patient. I'm sure this is just a trailer. So a couple more minutes goes by, and we can tell that we're starting to be able to tell it's a movie now. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go check to make sure this is the right theater, guys. I'll be right back. So I go outside the theater, and sure enough, B was right. We were in the wrong theater. We went. I quickly ran back in there, and I whispered harshly to my friends, like, "We're in the wrong theater. We're in the wrong theater. Get up, get up. We're in the wrong theater. We gotta go. We're gonna miss the movie." So we got into the right theater literally just in time. They were on the last trailer before it started. Oh wait, I apologize. No, that's not what happened. We got into the theater. We still had plenty of trailers, I should say. We didn't get there just in time. We had plenty of trailers still. That was my mistake. Again, I'm sick and a little confused. Bear with me. So we get to our seats. The problem is that we were going to AMC to watch this. And I don't know how many states have an AMC in it or how many countries. I don't know how many people in the world watch these pointless videos, but um, but anyway, I don't know how familiar you guys are with AMC theaters, but at AMC there's reclining seats. It's really nice, but you also have to pick your seats before you get into the theater. So we picked out our Lego Ninjago seats, but that meant we didn't have our own seats for the It theater. So the four of us were sitting down in the seats in the four seats next to each other we could find. Few minutes goes by and a family comes in and tells us we're sitting in their spots, which is what I was really paranoid was going to happen, and it did. So I quickly ushered my friends up and we moved a row ahead to where there was another four seats available. Uh, then the exact same thing happened again. The second family was a little less abrupt about it. They were like standing there, like looking around, questioning whether or not they found the right spot. They looked at their tickets and at our seats again. I was like scrunching down the seats, hoping that like they would pass us by. But then they said, "We think that you're in our seats," and I like sighed inside, but I also got really nervous that they were going to report us. So I had to usher my friends up again to move down even further. This time we moved all the way down to the front row of the theater, like to the very front, where like the last row before you get to the screen. Which normally I would hate. I would hate to sit in that spot, but because there was reclining seats at AMC, it didn't bother me too much. In fact, it kind of adds to the experience. Uh, Watching that movie was a scary experience the first time. Looking back now, I don't think that It Chapter One was as scary as I remember it. But when I watched it, like so close to the screen, with the constant worry already that somebody was going to throw us out of the theater, it just made It Chapter One even more scary to watch for me. Luckily, nobody else tried to tell us that we were sitting in their spot. We finally found a row of seats that nobody wanted to sit in, so we didn't get kicked out again. And luckily, the people who moved us, because we were sitting in their seats, luckily they didn't report us. They probably expected that we were a bunch of teenagers trying to watch a movie we weren't supposed to be watching. So they let us, just do it. I'm happy that they had some sort of empathy for us instead of trying to kick us out, because that would have sucked. They probably would have kicked us back to Lego Ninjago if they reported us, but we really wanted to see it. I really had no interest in seeing Lego Ninjago. I still haven't seen it. I heard it was the worst of the Lego movies. So, and I'm not even familiar with Ninjago to begin with. So I'm just happy that we got to see it instead of Lego Ninjago. Um, the movie itself was pretty good. It was scary. Not as scary as I think, or I used to think it was more scary than I think it is now. Uh, Adrenaline and Jay were mostly snuggling in the seat next to me, while B was sitting on my left. B, for some reason, he's a big movie chatter. He loves to talk in the theater. And during the Emoji Movie, that was fine because nobody gave a shit. But during it, when I was actually trying to watch it, it got really irritating that B kept talking to me. And I tried to be as nice as I could, but I think I came off as a little bit rude to him. Um, anyway, not the point of the story. Early on in the movie, um, like Adrenaline flinched about something. I don't remember what. I think that Jay, like, I don't know, maybe felt him somewhere he wasn't expecting, if you know what I mean. And he like flinched, and this was a scary scene in the movie. So I fucking jumped because I wasn't expecting Adrenaline to flinch at the same time, like that the movie tried to do a jump scare. So like I almost yelled at him in the theater, but I like whisper yelled instead. I'm like, "You scared me more than the movie. Damn it." And he starts fucking laughing at me, and I start laughing too. It's funny. B's like cackling like a hyena on my left. It was funny. Um, man, and yeah, so watching the movie was fun. I had a good time with it, even if looking back now, the movie's not as scary as I remember it. Um, but then we left the theater to go home, and this is where like more trouble started. Because basically, my grandma was supposed to pick us up. My mom ended up picking us up instead. I don't remember why. I think my grandma was busy with something. And once you hear what I have to say that happened next, you'll probably understand why I'm glad my grandma wasn't in the car. Um, just as a heads up, my grandma has very little patience for people's bullshit. Okay. With that in mind, I'm going to tell you what happened when we were trying to get everybody home. So we got B home no problem. Oh, actually, before I talk about this, there is something I forgot to mention about the theater. Remember how I said that E was supposed to come with us? Well, it was a really good thing that he didn't because when I say that there was literally barely enough seats for us, I mean it literally. Like there was literally only 4 seats left. So if E had come, then somebody wouldn't have been able to sit in a seat, and we probably would have been found and kicked out. Uh, I mean, Jay could have sat on Adrenaline's lap, but I think that would have caused a lot of attention too. So it's definitely a good thing that E didn't come with us that particular night. I'm not friends with any of those guys anymore, actually. Like, me and B stopped being friends. Me and him had a falling out a few months after we saw it. And then me and E had a falling out about a year later. So that's about a year ago now. And then me and Adrenaline had a falling out a month ago. And I'm going to explain what happened with his girl, with Jay. So we were on our way home from the theater, and my grandma was supposed to pick us up. She couldn't. So that's where we are in the story now. So we got B home from the theater, no problem at all. He said, "Thank you. We had a good time," all that bullshit. Then when we're trying to get Jay home, though, that's when it starts to get really damn complicated. Okay. Because Jay, for some reason, really kept procrastinating. She was terrible at telling my mom where to drive. She kept telling her like very vague directions. So my mom like had to start she was being so annoyingly vague that it took us forever to get her home. And I don't know if she gave her vague directions on purpose because she wanted to be with Adrenaline longer. I don't know. All I know is that I was getting pissed off. My mom was getting pissed off, and I even think Adrenaline was starting to get a little annoyed after a while. And I'm saying that it's lucky my grandma wasn't in the car because my grandma has very little patience for that kind of thing. My friend the Nathanator, who I've talked about in previous shoot videos, he spent the night once, and my grandma drove him home. I was in the car, and he was giving her vague directions because he didn't want to go home. So it took like 20 minutes to get him back to his house because he kept giving her directions that made it take longer. So as she fucking blew a gasket at the Nathanator, so I can only imagine what she would have done to Jay. She probably would have been real pissed at Jay, I would imagine. So Jay is definitely lucky that it was my mom in the car and not my grandma because my mom has a lot more patience for that sort of thing. Um, So anyway, then we finally get to Jay's house. I should say, Adrenaline walked Jay to her door. They kissed, blah 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 blah, all that stuff. Then we dropped Adrenaline back off. Um, so yeah, that was the story of how I snuck into a radar movie. I had a good time for the most part, except the trouble at the ticket counter, and then going into the wrong theater, and then having to move seats twice once we got into the right theater, and how lucky we were that there was only four of us instead of five, and damn it, Jay with those fucking directions on the way home, So even though there was a lot of troubles, I still had a good time with that visit, and it kind of does make me sad that I'm not friends with any of those guys anymore. But I'm not going to talk about why I'm not friends with them anymore because that's kind of a personal thing I don't really care to share about. Um, but we did have a really good time that night, and the future did seem bright at the time. Even though we just come from a dark as hell movie, but uh, Jay and Adrenaline ended up breaking up only about a week after that, believe it or not. Because basically Adrenaline found out that Jay had been cheating on him with Adrenaline's friend, not my friend, but one of his friends. And he was understandably pretty miffed about that, and so he and Jay broke up. Felt bad for Adrenaline at the time. I didn't know that. I figured that this was gonna be a long lasting relationship because Adrenaline and Jay were like getting really comfortable with each other at that theater. They were snuggling in the dark. They were kissing, stuff like that. I was really thinking that they were going to last. So I was really sad when I found out they broke up only about a week after we went to the theater. Because we kicked off the month of October by doing this movie thing, so we were so sure that October was going to be our month. And then a week later, Adrenaline loses his girlfriend. So I felt really bad for him. Uh, haven't talked to Jay since the movies, actually. I never saw her again after that. And hearing what she did to poor Adrenaline, it's probably best I didn't talk to her again. Uh, so, yeah. And about a year later, actually, a year after I went to go see it, um, it was 2018 September. It was August or September of 2018, and I was still in the best relationship of my life, which I've talked about in many shoot videos. With the girl that I hope to get married to, we were super close. We did everything together. We cooked together. We watched movies and anime together. We even snuggled together. We were really, really close. Definitely the best relationship in my life. And it was during that relationship I went to the first Radar movie at the theater, where I didn't need to sneak in or come with an adult. Because by that point I was actually 17 myself, and there was somebody else working there that didn't ask me for a birth certificate. Um, so I took my girlfriend to go see The Spy Who Dumped Me, which is also rated R, and I took her to see that almost exactly a year after I went to go see it the year before. So that was really funny, I thought. And me and my girlfriend had a great time going to see The Spy Who Dumped Me. The movie was okay. I thought it was kind of funny at times. And I just had a really good time going to see a Radar movie for the first time without an adult. Haven't had the pleasure to go back since then to do that. Um, as I mentioned, I have no interest in seeing it Chapter Two. It doesn't look that good, and I've heard that it's not very good. So I'm not going to go see it. I have no interest in it. I The next movie I really want to go see is the Joker movie, and I think that movie's PG-13. If it's rated R, then that'll be the next rated R movie I see at the theater. But anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching this shoot video. And again, I really appreciate people who stick around and listen to what I gotta say, and give me recommendations. If you have any more recommendations for me for future shoot videos, feel free to ask me any question you want in the comments down below. Uh, and let me know if you like this video or not by giving it a thumbs up. Share this video with all of your friends and family on all of your various social media platforms. Ring that notification bell, and I'll see all you dudes and chicks in the next video.